Yo, 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 what's up? Welcome to Juicy Talk. We're so happy that you are here today with us. We had some technical difficulties. Sorry that I am late, but I am glad you are here. So, we're just going to get straight into it because we have so much going on. If you can hear me well, please let me know. Leave a comment in the box. Let me know. Let me know. Send a comment if you can hear me well. If you can hear me, send me a thumbs up. Something. All right. Where you at? Okay. So today, great. Glad you can hear me. So today we are here. I have a whole peanut gallery in the background. Make some noise, y'all. Hey. So we just gonna get straight into the topic. We so excited to talk today. So our topic today is, and I gotta get my drink. I got Jazz over here making drinks. We over here sipping on some Grey Goose. So what y'all sipping on with us? So we gonna get straight to the topic. So the topic of the day is, are gender roles important in relationships? Are gender roles important in a relationship? So let me give you a little background on where this conversation came from and how this topic came about. So I was talking to my good friend, and he was talking about the we were talking about the state of relationships today and the problems that we're having with relationships. And he was stating that the reason why we are having so many relationship issues is because we do not operate in our correct gender roles. So I said, well, what do you mean by that when you say we're not operating in our correct gender roles? Like, you got to expound on that. So basically, he was saying, like, back in traditional day, were very feminine. They stuck to their very feminine responsibilities and roles. And nowadays, women are not sticking to their roles. Men, if it was a man's responsibility to take out the trash or whatever a male responsibility is, yes, it was loud. If it was a man's responsibility or anything like that to take out the trash or whatever, then guess what? He did that. He stuck to those roles. But in my opinion, right? Let's first talk about what is gender roles. What are actually gender roles? Anybody? What you think? What's a gender role? I'm gonna tell you. I am gonna tell you, but I want to know what you think a gender role is.
I feel like the gender role is just I like
Say it in the mic.
traditional gender roles. I know it's usually like the woman cooks and clean and the man works and provides. For me, I feel like I would like it to be equal because sometimes I don't always want to cook and clean. So I feel like for me, I would just want somebody to be a partner. But I don't know. I feel like some of those gender roles is just like some things I would want to keep the same, like how they are and be traditional. So I feel like usually for women it's cooking and cleaning, taking care of the children, and then sometimes for the men it's providing. And I don't know. I feel like that's all they and protecting and yep, pumping gas. Yeah, them are the ones I want to keep taking out the trash and pumping the gas.
So that's funny. We go next time we're gonna go do it from over on this side. But so that's pretty much it's our traditional standard way of doing things, our standard way of very feminine, take a woman taking on very much the nurturing aspect of taking, like you said, taking care of the children, men being a very protectors, providers. And in my opinion, right, this is my opinion, that we really actually don't have gender roles. I mean, if you really think about it, men can be nurturing. I think it's the yin and the yang, right? So when he was discussing about gender roles, he was not pretty much talking about that. He was saying like women need to be more feminine. They need to stay in their place, stay in their position, just as far as not being aggressive in our conversation. He stated that women are very aggressive when it comes to their conversation with men and that we should stick to those things that we were once doing previously. And this is my take on it. When you really look at it, I feel like women want to be naturally submissive to a man. We naturally want to, when we are in the presence of a male who is very much masculine, we naturally, organically become submissive. I think that's what the problem that's occurring nowadays is that we're not in a position to be feminine in the sense of submissive because we are not treated in a very feminine way. I think men, a lot of times, in my opinion, treat women in a very masculine role when it comes to our emotions. And if you don't agree, or if you agree, please comment below. I'm also going to share so you can call in if you like. But in general, a lot of times what happens is women, we're in this position where we're not allowed to be as feminine as we once were and we would like to be. And it's basically because oops, it's basically just because we are not allowed the opportunity to be feminine anymore. I'm going to take a sip on that. What do you think, Jazz?
Um,
And I think that it's a balance. I feel like, come around to the other side. I feel like it's a yin and a yang. And men have balance. Men possess feminine energy, women also possess masculine energy. And I think that it keeps about a balance. I think the problem that we're having right now is we don't have a balance, and we see a man who is in touch with his feelings or his emotions. A lot of people look at that as if he is sassy. People have been saying like really sassy. That's the new term. But when you really think about it, is he actually being sassy or is he just operating in a feminine energy, which is natural? Both men and women both have feminine energy. And I think just finding a balance between that is the problems that we're seeing when it comes to relationships.
So for me, I'm not gonna say which relationship or no names, but I have been in a relationship with a man, and he was very, I would have to say he used to complain a lot about me not cooking, not cleaning. I was also working 16 hours as a correction officer, and I used to come home, and he used to be out in my car, and I used to feel bad about it at first until I got in a relationship and I had somebody that was very much a provider, and those things is just like cooking and cleaning and taking care of my house is just like something that I just wanted to do. So I don't know. I just feel like I mean I like it to be like equal. I just don't want nobody that I feel like most men who are complaining about gender roles, it's a lot of emotionally unavailable men, and it just be men that don't even deserve to have a woman that can't that's not good leaders. Those are the ones complaining because anybody who is taking on a role or their gender role, they probably don't even have they probably not don't even have these complaints because it's getting done automatically because it's just something naturally that we would want to do if we had somebody leading us the right way and doing their part of the gender role. So
That was a lot to unpack. You said a lot, but you do have that's a very good point, in my opinion, because I think that for the most part, when you see men who are complaining about gender roles, it appears to me that it's men who are like the red pill type men who are and I don't really
toxic masculinity.
toxic masculinity. Yes, definitely. So what do you guys think out there in the universe? What about you? What's your opinion? Because I feel like a lot of times, like these are the conversations we need to have as women, right? We have these conversations amongst each other, but we don't have these conversations, with men. And I think they need to hear this as well. So, what do you think when it comes to where's Messy Boots at? Messy Boots, where's Messy Boots? What do you think? I'm gonna hand you the mic. She not ready yet. She not ready. She ain't had enough steps. No, but honestly, I think that we are living in a society where there is a lot of toxic men, a toxic relationship. So let me ask you this. What do you think about this idea that women are too aggressive in their conversation with men? And is there ever a time, and please chime in the chat, is there ever a time where a woman would need to have masculine energy? Because my friend stated that women should never have masculine energy, and it's never a time where a woman should display masculine energy. But I think that if you're a woman and you're in a professional environment, especially if you are um, a boss, for lack of a better term, that you may be in a situation where you actually have to operate in a very authoritative manner. And I hate to say that that's even, or is that even like, is that a masculine trait? Or is that just a humanity trait? What you think?
For me, I've been in situations at like you said, at the workplace and stuff like that. And by I don't want to say that. Let me see. A certain type of person, it like offends me when they say that I'm being aggressive or something like that when I'm really just passionate. But for me, I don't want to be I don't never want to operate in a masculine type of manner with my man anyway. I want a very soft life myself and I want to be feminine. I don't ever want to have to get like that or be in that type of had that type of energy anyway. So for me, I just like to operate in my feminine energy. And you know what? That was a problem with the same person I was talking about with the toxic masculinity. He used to tell me that I was too soft and that I was too emotional and stuff like that. And at first I was believing it, but I don't know. Now he's dating a stud. So
But if you're a woman, aren't you supposed to be like emotional? Aren't you supposed to be emotional? Like, I think that a lot of times people say, like, oh, women, we're not supposed to be emotional. But I feel like as a woman, you're supposed to be emotional. That's like you can't have it both ways. You can't say, and I see this a lot. So like in one of my past relationships, I was in a relationship and I remember he told me that I'm too emotional, right? You're too emotional. And all my friends are over here like, what? You? No. But I was told that I was too emotional, right? And I said to him, like, you can't have it both ways. You can't want me to be a feminine, very submissive woman and then expect me not to be show up very masculine in my emotions. I think men are naturally maybe not as emotional as women, so they say, but I don't really actually agree with that. I feel like women are less whoopsie. I feel like women are less emotional personally because we handle so much more when it comes to our emotions. We talk about our emotions. We deal with what we're feeling. We operate in a place of being able to express ourselves emotionally and have a lot of more emotional intelligence because we grow up with that being safe for us to do. But I also feel like a lot of times men are more emotional because they can't handle their emotions. Isn't that like a sign of being too if you can't handle your emotions? Like they get angry, like you see all the time, men killing women, like she, getting upset and mad and angry. And instead of walking away or leaving that relationship, they want to strangle her and choke her out. So is that more emotional? Where women, they done been cheated on 10, 15, 20 times and they forgiven and want to talk about it and move forward. So I think that whole thing, somebody asked a question, are you associating feminism with being submissive? Not me. Not me personally, but I feel like a lot of, you know, people do.
why not? Why wouldn't it be associated?
I feel like men and women both have to be submissive to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to listen to your partner. You have to be able to um it just depends on what the situation is whether or not you have to be submissive in that relationship. Like sometimes a male may need to be submissive and sometimes a woman may be submissive to somebody else. The peanut gallery.
I just feel like also today in 2024 a lot of people, both men and women, have the wrong idea maybe of what being submissive is, because I've spoke to, my friends, some women, and when we speak about being they're like, I ain't about to, like, they feel like that's like a man, like, controlling them. So I feel like that's another thing. Like a lot of people have this type of weird or not weird or just wrong or different idea about what being submissive really is too. So I think that's another
I would agree with that. I think for the most part, in my opinion, right? Who as a woman, you want to be able to relax in your relationship. You want to be able to relax in that relationship. You want to be able to take a deep breath and know that your man got it. I mean, would you agree? Jazzy, Mimosa said hi. So, yeah, I think that, no, I think that for the most part, like me as a woman, right? I want to be able to be submissive. I like the idea of knowing that my man got me and he's going to take care of me and I'm good. That I can rest in him and I know like, oh, he said, oh, you're fine, baby. I got you. No worries. It makes me feel safe. Yeah. And safety is a definitely something that women need. That's because men are, if you're protecting me, you're not just protecting me in my, physically, you need to be able to protect me emotionally, financially, emotionally, you know what I'm saying? All of those areas are places where you need to feel protected and safe in a relationship. And yeah, definitely physically too. So, I mean, but those are some of the things that I feel like we don't talk about. So, how do we get to this place of, because I feel like as women, we're getting this bad rap, right? We're getting this rap like, oh, we can't, we're just getting a bad rap
We're too aggressive and we're too sensitive.
everywhere we go, right?
Yeah,
We're
but
too,
I don't agree though. I mean, is it that women are aggressive, or is it that women are aggressive, or are they just passionate?
that's true. Is women aggressive or are we just passionate? I think that both men and women both can be passionate.
So
And-
I'm just trying to understand, like, because I hear it a lot where they talk about women are aggressive, women are aggressive. They need to, figure out what they want. Women are just too aggressive. But what is it that women are doing? Nobody's saying what it is exactly. They're just saying women are aggressive.
okay. Somebody else from the peanut gallery.
I feel like sometimes, I mean, I've experienced maybe, I don't know if I want to call it aggressive though, but I just lately, I mean, lately I've been seeing a lot of women who feel like they don't need a man, and for me, I feel like that is like, we just got to the point where we don't even care. We feel like we don't need men, and a lot of us do. A lot of us, we have children, and nobody just wants to admit that we need each other. Like men need women and women need men, but we just got to this point where we just feel like we don't even need each other. We got it, we can do it. And that's like fine, you can be independent and stuff like that. But for me, I know it's like at first it was like hard for me coming to terms with this, but like I need a man. Like, I need and want a man. Like I have a son. You know what I'm saying? I have just different things where like that's just like something that I need. Not necessarily to take care of me or to use somebody, but I just feel like that's where the aggressiveness comes from because we just don't. It's sometimes like the respect on both ends is kind of like just missing. I feel like so.
So do you think so you said that it's a lot of times women are saying that they don't need men. Do you think it's because of the trauma that women are going through when it comes to relationships? Do you think that it's the trauma that are it's not so much as you don't need a man, but you women have gone through so much trauma when it comes to relationships and it's such a lack of respect for black women. Do you think that's where it's coming from? No, I'm not it's no right or wrong. I mean, I am too, right? But I is it a place of because I feel like a lot of times when I hear women say that they don't need a man, it's not necessarily that they feel like they don't need a man, it's that they feel like they're tired of being hurt by men.
Sometimes men are more trouble than they're worth. And that's why women feel as though they don't need a man because sometimes having a man just to have a man is like having another child. And a lot of women are fed up with that. Does that make them aggressive? I'm still on the aggressive. Does that make them aggressive? Help me out.
I don't know if I don't know if that makes them aggressive. I wouldn't say that that would make you aggressive. But I feel like do you feel as a woman, right? When it comes to because I feel like women are held to this high standard. Like I feel like men hold women, and I've heard men say, I hold women to a high standard, right? And so a lot of times I feel like women, we're held to this higher standard, but it's a standard that I don't know if men are living up to the same standard that they want from women. So, like, as a man, and I mean, if you're listening, you're a man, please chime in or call in. And I'm going to put in, you can also, I'm going to put copies to the link. So if you want to come on, you can. But I feel like a lot of times when it comes to relationships, like, we're looked at as if we're not respected anymore. Like it's not the same amount of respect. And men want women to be faithful. They want you to be committed. They want you to be loyal. They want you to all of these things from you, but they don't reciprocate the same thing. A lot of times we are running into this where they're not reciprocating the same thing. Messy Boots, do you have something to say? Messy Boots got something to say. Hold up.
Explain what you just said.
Be kind, be kind.
I definitely need a man. I need a man to take out the garbage, to wash my clothes, to wash my car, to fix everything that I cannot fix. Yes, that's what I need. What was the question?
Messy Boots, do you feel like women receive the respect that they deserve in relationships? Question is, do women receive the respect that they deserve? Do women receive the respect they deserve in relationships? And do men give to women what they expect from us? Because I hear a lot of men say they hold women to this high standard, right? But in reality, do they reciprocate that same standard? I feel like a lot of times men want a standard that they're not willing to give.
And I definitely have to agree with that because at the end of the day, all men are liars, all men cheat, and that's if yours don't, you just haven't found it out yet. It's a proven fact. It is what it is. You just haven't pushed them over the edge yet, but you keep talking, and eventually he will cheat too.
She said it's a proven fact.
So Messy Boots says that if you talk, you're gonna get cheated. Okay, Messy Boots is cut off right now. Is that aggressive? Chime in.
They talk about you.
I don't feel like, so do you feel like women bully men? Uh-oh. Okay, we got a debate in the building right here now. They don't want to be on camera.
So I'm not a bully. Messy Boots is a known bully since 1990. But I would just say I am dating a younger man. So and this is a first. So it's a first that I've dated somebody younger than me. I'm not really I don't think I'm aggressive to him. I still try to be like submissive to him. Sometimes it is like I don't know, certain things I can like be submissive on, but sometimes I find myself kind of teaching and he's open to it. He asked me to like show him stuff and teach him stuff, but sometimes I feel like I am teaching him lessons that I might have received since 1990 that he probably from an aggressive person that he probably hasn't learned yet. So I mean sometimes I still try to be submissive to him even though he is younger than me and then he still has like a few lessons that I'm trying to help him with.
Wisdom though? Is that wisdom?
From me?
So is it wisdom that he's getting from you?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that, but sometimes he doesn't always take it. Sometimes he sometimes I wouldn't say it offends him, but sometimes he might be annoyed and he calls me mom. Yeah, sometimes he's like,
says, "Mom."
yeah, okay, mom.
be on him.
Like, but I mean, I'm just trying to show him, like, but like wants and needs, and like, I'm just at a point in my life. I really bad spending habits. I used to stay in a store, but I've just learned how to just be different with my money now, and now like we got stuff doing. He talking about buying a damn Cane Corsa, like, and it's just not the time. So I don't know.
So we're gonna get back to the topic. They've gotten a little crazy. But no. So what okay, so ladies, if you had to define gender roles, what would you say? Is gender roles necessary in relationships? What is your opinion? Like, does it matter if he takes out the trash or you take out the trash? Does it matter if you pump your own gas? If you
Yeah.
work, because see, this is my thing. Most women nowadays, like, I don't feel like we live in a society where gender roles are actually realistic. And I'm gonna tell you on some to a certain degree. Back in the day, women stayed at home and the man went outside the house to work. So because he was outside the house working, she was at home all day with the kids. It was important for her to cook, clean, and take care of the household and take care of the children because he was working, making money all day. At this point, women are also working. He's not paying the bills by himself. She's working 40 hours a week. He's working 40 hours a week. So they're both working collectively. I feel like it's unfair. And a lot of women are stressed out because they're still working 40 hours a week. He's working 40 hours a week. He comes home and he gets to watch Sports Center because he's worked all day, where she has to come home. She's still expected to cook dinner, clean up, take care of the children, and satisfy him at the end of the night. But she literally worked 40 hours and then had to come home and work another 40 hours in this relationship. And I think a lot of times, we need both women are stressed out too. Like we don't have at one point in the traditional standard back in the day, our moms, they stayed at home. So they didn't have the stress of work life. But now we have the stress of work life, the stress of paying the bills, the stress of everything else, in addition to taking care of the children, taking care of our home, taking care of, our home environment, and we're sharing the responsibilities. So shouldn't all the responsibilities be shared? If the expectation is for me to help you provide, shouldn't you help me then clean up? Is that an unrealistic expectation? If and nowadays women make their own money, so our needs have changed where my mom or older generations of women may have just needed a man to provide for them financially and help them take care of their children. Now we take care of it. We can provide for ourselves financially. So now we need emotional support. We need love and care and nurturing too. We need to be affirmed and reassured. The same things that men want, like love and nurturing and caring and emotional intelligence, and want her to be, kind and loving. Those are the same things that women want as well, because we're sharing the responsibility of taking care of households and paying bills and working. We have the same work stress that our counterparts may have. And is that unfair to a woman to then expect her to take care of the household and work 40 hours and help pay bills too? Because I hear a lot of men say, I don't want my woman got to work. I don't want a woman that doesn't work. And I understand it because everything is more expensive now. But with the change of life and the way that life is now and the way that things are set up now, isn't it only fair to expect for you to also, since I'm helping you share in paying the bills and providing, that you also share in the nurturing and the loving and the rearing of the children and the upkeep and and maintaining the home? Is that fair? What do you think, Messy Boots?
I think that is one of the conversations you should have before you get into a serious relationship. You have to ask these types of questions. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? One of the first arguments that I got into with Mr. Messy Boots is cutting the grass, because I was used to cutting the grass and he likes to cut the grass. So we had to compromise. Okay, he'll cut the front and I'll cut the back. The back is larger. And now after time went on, he cuts it all because I didn't want to cut the front or the back. So I think that's one of the things.
Why did that change for you? Why did that change for you?
What do you mean? Why did it change?
So you said you used to like to you said that you used to like to cut the grass, right?
Mhm.
And then, Mr. Messy Boots start complaining like, no, this is his responsibility and
that's
something
what
he
he likes
wanted
to
to do. So why did it change for you? If it was something that you truly enjoyed, why did it change?
It changed because I just found other things to do. So maybe I didn't really enjoy cutting the grass, but I just found that I had other things to do and other things to handle. And the front grass was smaller, the back grass was bigger. So I just let him cut it all since he enjoyed doing it too. And I just went on to doing other things. So it was okay. But I also believe that that's something that you both have to sit down and talk about. You have to talk about finances. You have to talk about kids. You have to talk about bills. You have to talk about when things go wrong, how will that look? Because it will not always be a honeymoon type situation. So that's what I believe in. It's important. Communication is the key to everything.
So do you feel like a lot of the problems that we're seeing with men feeling that women are not submissive enough, do you feel like a lot of this stems from the lack of communication between men and women, or is it the lack of just trying to understand one another, or both?
I think it can possibly be both. I think that the government put a lot of things in place back in the I think the 50s and 60s where where you wanted something, you wanted your bills to be paid, you couldn't have a man in your house and they had to leave out the house. And I think all of that plays a part. And I think now what's going on is we see this up and coming generation where the we see this up and coming generation where it's just everybody is fighting with each other, men against men. It's a mess. And I really hope that we can honestly get it together and figure out how we can come together, because once we do come together, we will be great. But that's one of the things that we need to figure out, how to stop going against each other, because it's not working. It's not working, and we need to fix it. Whatever the problem is, we need to fix it.
Mr. White said we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we did. And I feel like this is something that we always come back to the same place when it comes to relationships between men and women, because we have this issue with, like you said, us missing each other and not communicating with each other in an effective way that is allowing us to love one another. I hear so many, like my friend that I talked to recently, I hear so many men say the problem is that it's with women and that the problem is us. They haven't changed. That we are the ones who have changed when it came to relationships. And in my opinion, all of the change that is right here that we are experiencing right now is by force. This is not something that we signed up for. It's something that was pushed on us, for lack of a better term. Um, and with that, we're gonna it's a wrap. I just what's the one takeaway you would want people to say? Like if you could tell the male species, if it was one thing that you could tell males that you would want them to really take in from you, what would it be? What would be the one message you would have for men who want to have functional, loving, caring relationships with women? What would you what would you say?
I would say be honest, be open, and stop lying. That's what I would say. Be honest, open, and stop lying.
All right. So Mr. White said we need more men who are ready and willing to do right, and women who also can partner with us. I agree with that. We definitely need partners, teamwork. Like when I think of about successful relationships, I think about people who partner together, who respected one another, who do I have any examples? She asked me if I had any examples of positive relationships. And to be quite honest, I, you never really know what a person is going through in a relationship, because I can say, like, yeah, I have a couple that I think that are positive or have a positive relationship, but you really don't know what people really go through in their relationships. But I will say that it's not for me to say. Um, Someone said, women have needed to stand 10 toes down on their own for so long. We've, and so I was going to actually say one of the people that I would say that, I know men who talk very positively about their wives, who speak in a very positive way about their relationships and their wives. I know one couple in particular that live across the street from me, and they've been married and together for uh, since I was a kid, right? So I would say so probably been married for over 30 years, this couple. And she is battling illness right now and is by her side the whole
Wow.
entire way. He's been by her side. He's always been a loyal, loving husband, this is my knowledge of him always being loving and caring towards his wife. And even through their adversity, they've been the longest running couple that I know personally, you know. And I do feel like as women, we want to, like, if I could give any message to the men that may be listening out here, I would say that yes, being honest, yes, being trustworthy is very important. It's definitely something that is important, but I would say be who you are. You know, don't miss be yourself. Learn who you are as a person before you enter into a relationship. Seek help if you know you have issues with your parents, if you know you have emotional issues that you've dealt with in your life, get help with that first. And just if I could tell men anything that I would want them to know that a woman wants to be able to relax in her relationship. She wants to be able to, we want to be submissive. We want to be nurturing. We want to be safe. We want to feel like we're in relationships where we're safe and we can be vulnerable. And I think that it's not enough for a man to provide for you financially. I think a lot of men have the ideology that women just want money, but no, we want to feel safe and secure. We want to be able to know that we can be vulnerable with you and we can rest in our relationship and that we're going to be loved and cared for in spite of, you know, we want to be able to rest. We're tired. I don't have any desire to be I've been strong by choice. You know, I've had to be strong by choice because if I don't do it, who will? But that's not, I want to be able to rest in a relationship. I don't think I've been married before. I don't ever think I've been in a relationship where I have been able to rest in that relationship. Yes, Mr. White has been with his wife for 23 years and happy. And he's an example. I haven't seen a lot of evidence of that. I don't know what you're referring to, if you can speak on that, Mr. White, but I just feel like we want to rest in our relationships. We want to be in relationships that are healthy and loving and caring. And I just feel like a lot of times we are not given that opportunity to have that. We've been strong and like Mr. White said, standing 10 toes down, but it's not reciprocated. And so that's what we want. So if I could tell a man anything, I would say know that a woman wants to be submissive. Give her a reason to. Relationships take sacrifice. You have to be in a place of willing to sacrifice in order to make a relationship work. That means that you may have to sacrifice, you know, sleeping with 30 women. You may have to, yeah, she might be fine and she might be pretty and she may be prettier than the woman you got at home, but is it worth losing everything that you have? You know? So I think those type of things need to be discussed and talked about. But know that women, we tired of being strong. I don't know about y'all. We want to be able to rest in relationships. So on that note, they are so silly back here. If Jasmine, do you want to any final thoughts or comments? Anything, if you could tell them all the men of the world today, one thing, come around the other way. Shh. If you could tell men one thing that you would want them to know, advice for relationships, what would it be?
I would say just leave space for your woman to be vulnerable, for you to be vulnerable, to not be so, you don't have to be so tough. You know, like try to be emotionally available. And I say just don't embarrass me.